Hello students, today we're going to talk about writing and graphing inequalities. In this lesson we're going to talk about graphing on a number line, and so we're going to be looking at some single variable inequalities. So one thing that you need to remember when you have inequalities is when you're graphing it on a number line, you're going to use open and closed circles. So if the inequality is a less than or a greater than, then you're going to use an open point on the number line or the graph. If the inequality is a less than or equal to, or a greater than or equal to, then that means that the number is included, so you're going to use a closed point on the number line or the graph. Okay, so let's look at some examples. In this first example, we are going to write the inequality. Now, what I want you to notice when you're looking at these inequalities is a couple of things. First of all, you're going to look at the point, okay? The point in this particular example is closed. It is filled in, okay? And then everything that is to the right of it is shaded. And so I want you to, when it goes to the right, that means that it is everything that is greater than that number. Because again, look at the numbers. They are getting bigger. And so you're going to include all the numbers that are greater than that -3 and equal to, because this is shaded in. So you can use any variable that you want. We're just going to stick with x right now. So it's all my x values that are greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to looks like this, and it's greater than or equal to this number right here, which is -3. Okay? The other thing I want you to keep in mind is which one is less than and which one's greater than. The way I remember it is the less than, if you turn it, it looks like an L. So less than looks like an L, and then greater than is obviously the other one. Okay, so make sure you're using the correct symbols. So the question states, is 3 a solution? Well, if you look at 3 on the number line, 3 is right here, and yes, it is part of the shaded area, so it is a solution to this inequality. Okay, in example 2, now we're going to graph the inequality. So right here we have x is less than, that kind of looks like an L, so it is a less than -2. So the first thing that you want to decide is -2 going to have an open or a closed circle? Well, a less than is an open circle, and I want you to think of it, the reason why it's open is because that -2 is not being included. It's just less than -2. It's not equal to the -2. So we're going to put an open circle on -2. And then less than, so look and see where your numbers are getting smaller. My numbers are getting smaller on this left side here. So that is where you're going to shade in on the inequality. So it's shaded all in here, okay? And then the second question says, is 3 a solution? Well, 3 is over here, and that is not shaded in, so no, it is not a solution for this problem. Okay, and last but not least, on example 3, it says translate the verbal phrase into an inequality and graph it. So here's the phrase: a cat can have up to 8 kittens in one litter. So what I want you to ask yourself is, can I have more than 8? Or can I not? Well, it says a cat can have up to 8 kittens. So no, it can't have more than. So what you'd want to use is you'd want to use the less than symbol. Now, The other thing that you want to keep in mind is, can you have exactly 8? Well, it says a cat can have up to 8 kittens, but it doesn't, and so to me that sounds like, yes, it can have 8 kittens, it can have up to. And so we're going to put an equal to under here. So the number of kittens, so let's just use K, has to be less than or equal to 8. Now the other thing you might be asking yourself is, well, it can't have less than 0 kittens because we can't have negative kittens. So what you might also want to do is limit it to where it can't go lower than 0. So on this side, I'm going to say that K also, because the K that's opening up towards the K, then K is greater than 0. It could have greater than or equal to because it could have 0. So this is what we call a between statement. So basically, when a variable is surrounded by 2 numbers, we call that a between statement. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to color in between those 2 numbers. So on 0, because it does have an equal to, it can equal 0, then that's going to be a closed circle. So we're going to color that in. And then on 8, it could be equal to 8 also, so we're going to close that in. And then the shading is going to be between that because it can have anywhere between 0 and 8 kittens. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. Again, we're going to work on some more problems when you come to class tomorrow.